Hello, I'm 15 years old, and my oldest sister, Olivia, is 24. I was definitely not a planned baby, and there's always been a lot of jokes about it, so I'm well aware. My dad never made me feel less important when he was around, but I can't say the same for my mom. My father passed away 3 years ago in a terrible car accident. Since then, it's just been my mom and me living here. Olivia used to live with us, but she moved out after a year of saving up post-graduation. I was relieved when she left, because by then, Olivia and I had started fighting a lot. We never had that close sisterly bond, and after my dad died, I began to notice how unfairly my mom treated us. It really got on my nerves, so I'd argue with my mom, and Olivia would step in to defend her, which just led to more fights. The arguments were usually over petty things. My mom always expected me to do most of the chores while Olivia got to relax after work. I never understood how that was fair since I was coming home from school, and Olivia had a desk job. I figured it would have been fair to split the chores equally among us. But my mom insisted Olivia shouldn't be exhausted after work, which is where I came in. I protested this treatment a lot, leading to more fights with my mom and Olivia. There were other things Olivia and I disagreed on, which only added to the tension between us. My mom always took Olivia's side, so I was glad when she moved out. After she left, she'd still visit my mom, but we ignored each other completely. That arrangement worked for us, and for the past couple of years, we've barely spoken. My mom thinks I should apologize to Olivia and make things right, but I don't see the need. Olivia hasn't shown any interest in having a relationship with me, and I'm fine with that. Recently, my mom forced me to help her with something, which has caused a lot of drama. My maternal grandmother passed away about a year ago, and a few months back, I received my inheritance. Since my mom's dad passed away when I was young, she inherited all the money and the house my grandparents lived in, along with every other asset my grandmother owned. But the most important item, the family heirloom, came to me, and my mom wasn't happy about it. It was the only thing my grandmother left me in her will, while Olivia received some of her favorite jewelry. Both my mom and Olivia were surprised, but I wasn't, considering I always had a good relationship with my grandmother. It was still a shock that she left the heirloom to me, but I was thrilled. The heirloom was a diamond ring with a huge stone, and I kept it safe for the few months I had it. My mom tried to convince me to give it to her for safekeeping, but I refused because I wanted it with me at all times. However, a couple of weeks ago, she forced me to sell it because of an emergency Olivia had. I disagreed when she told me I needed to sell the ring for extra money because Olivia had sprained her ankle and needed a nurse to take care of her since she lives alone. I found that ridiculous because Olivia is a working woman, so she could definitely afford to pay for the nurse herself. But apparently, her medical insurance does not cover that. And my mom didn't want to lend her money because she herself was planning on buying a new car, so she wanted to save up for that. The only way out of this was for me to sell the ring that my grandmother had left me and give the money to my mother so she could send it to Olivia. I thought that it was incredibly selfish of her, and we got into a lot of fights over this until she eventually told me that this was not a request. This was an order, and she wanted me to do as she said, or else she would cancel my trip to my grandparents' place during my holidays. She said that I was being selfish by not helping my sister out. It was bad enough that I hadn't even been to see her when she was in such a state, or even spoken to her properly in the past couple of years. She insisted that I shouldn't make it worse by being selfish, even when she needs the help. I was kind of scared that my mother would really cancel the trip, so I ended up giving the ring to her so she could sell it. I still regret it. I had given up the ring with a heavy heart, and I was not at all happy about it. That made me resent Olivia even more, and I made up my mind that I would never speak to her again. I also started feeling differently about my mother. Even though earlier she had always shown me that she had more of a soft corner for her elder daughter than me, it had never been this bad. So after I gave up my ring, I started distancing myself from her as well. I was mad at my mother, but I had to live with her because now that my grandmother was gone, I had nowhere else to go. My dad's parents, my paternal grandparents, live in a different state, and even to be able to travel there and live with them, I would need my mother's consent and help. So I had no other option but to make my peace with the situation and just deal with it. I was very upset, but I had no idea that things were about to get worse. About 4 days ago, just a week after I had given up the ring, I noticed that Olivia had posted an invitation to a housewarming party on Facebook. Coincidentally, she had been bragging about how she was able to save up enough money to buy her first home at just the age of 24. She couldn't have been prouder of herself. She had posted a couple of photos of the house that she had bought, and it was a pretty nice place in a good location. She had invited everyone she was friends with on Facebook to the housewarming party. It was a big deal, and I was shocked because, according to my mother, Olivia had a sprained ankle. Throwing a party like this would be pretty tough in that condition. More importantly, Olivia worked in marketing, and I didn't think she made enough money to buy such a nice house at her age. I didn't know the exact numbers, but I was sure a house like that cost a lot. It didn't take long for me to figure it out. I might be young, but I'm not stupid. The money from the ring I was forced to sell had definitely gone to Olivia to help her buy this house, not for some emergency like my mother claimed. I was about to confront my mom, but when I tried to screenshot the invitation on Facebook a few minutes later, I noticed the post had been deleted. That just confirmed my suspicion that my mother had probably told Olivia to take it down so I wouldn't find out. I realized I couldn't let this go. My mom had played me for a fool, all for the golden child, and I was furious. Luckily, I had memorized the date and address from the post. Last evening, I decided to follow my mother after she left. For the past few days, I hadn't given any sign that I knew about Olivia's new house, so my mom had no idea I was onto her. Last night, she told me she was going to a work party, and I acted like I was fine with it. But after she dressed up and left the house, I quickly got an Uber and followed her a few minutes later. I arrived at Olivia's new house about 5 minutes after my mom and waited for her to go inside before getting out of the car. As soon as she was in, I entered the house. It was packed with guests. A lot of our relatives were there, and they seemed shocked to see me walk in. That told me they were probably all in on this to some extent. Her friends were there too, and they looked surprised to see me, so I could tell they'd been fed lies about me and why no one was supposed to mention Olivia's new house to me. This morning, one of my aunts confirmed it. She told me they had texted everyone, telling them to keep this secret from me and not mention anything about the new house. Apparently, they were told I'd been having trouble at school and was constantly comparing myself to Olivia, which is why I wasn't getting along with her and had cut her off. That's why everyone was so shocked to see me there. Anyway, once I was inside Olivia's house, my mom and Olivia didn't notice I was there until it was too late. I grabbed the karaoke mic from one of her friends and started speaking to everyone in the room. I didn't have a speech prepared, but I had plenty of anger to fuel one. I laid it all out, how my mom had treated me unfairly after my dad passed away, and how she lied to me about Olivia needing money for an emergency. She had forced me to sell the only thing my grandmother left me, just so she could help Olivia buy this house. And the worst part? Olivia was probably bragging about how she'd done it all on her own. The truth was, she couldn't have done any of it without my ring money, and people needed to know that. She was lying about doing this without help, and I couldn't let that slide, especially when they were both so determined to erase my contribution. After my outburst, everyone was shocked, including my mom and Olivia. I stormed out and went back home. My mom followed about half an hour later, and she was furious, as I expected. She was mad that I'd exposed her and her favorite daughter in front of everyone. She started yelling at me as soon as she walked in, accusing me of ruining Olivia's reputation out of jealousy and bitterness. This time, I fought back. I told her she had been dishonest with me and cheated me out of the ring to give Olivia something she didn't deserve. I said she had been unfair and biased, and that both she and Olivia deserved what happened. I had no regrets. Then she told me Olivia didn't even know where the money had come from until a few days ago when my mom told her to take down that post. My mom had to explain why she didn't want me to find out, so according to her, there was no need for me to humiliate them like that. My mom said if I had a problem with her behavior, I should have confronted her directly instead of pretending everything was fine, and then pulling off this stunt just to humiliate the family. She told me that after I stormed out, a lot of relatives left without a word, and her friends seemed uneasy. She said Olivia had been very upset and completely broke down after everyone left because this was supposed to be a happy day for her, and I ruined it out of pettiness. My mom told me she was really disappointed in me and how I had acted. After that, we didn't speak. She left for work early this morning before I even woke up. Now that I've calmed down, I feel weird about the whole situation. I'm not sure if I should feel guilty, but honestly, I do. Aida for humiliating my mom and sister at her housewarming party. Update 1. Hey, a few hours have passed since I made my post, and it's almost midnight now. My mom came home pretty late tonight, and I'm sure she wasn't at work. She probably went to Olivia's place after work. I'm not certain, but that's my guess. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because ever since she got home, she hasn't acknowledged me at all. I was sitting in the living room when she walked in because I wanted to talk to her, but she just walked right past me. She didn't even glance my way and went straight to her bedroom. I felt bad because, even though I wasn't planning to apologize, I just wanted to talk and clear the air. But it's obvious she's not interested. She's made up her mind about who's right, and I can't change that. Times like this make me miss my dad a lot. My mom and I used to fight before too, but my dad was always there to calm things down and help us work things out. It took time, but he made sure we eventually cleared the air. But now he's gone, and I don't see that happening anymore. I'm pretty sure Olivia has turned my mom even more against me than she already was. It sucks because I know I'll have to live with my mom until I can move out, and right now, that doesn't seem possible. All my friends are here. I go to school here. And most importantly, I don't have any money of my own anymore. If I hadn't sold that ring, I could have used it to visit my grandparents. At least I would have had some clarity after talking to them, but for now, I can only speak to them on the phone. I haven't told them about any of this, because I don't even know where to start. I don't want them to worry and come pick me up. I'm sure if they found out, they'd definitely come to my rescue, and that would just create more drama. And drama is the last thing I need right now. I just need to lay low and handle whatever life throws at me. If my mom isn't talking to me, that's just how it is, and I'll have to deal with it. I've got school tomorrow, so I'm going to try to get some sleep. I can't afford to slack off because of this. I'll keep you updated on what happens. Thanks so much for all the supportive comments and messages. Update 2. A couple of days have passed since my last update, and almost everyone has advised me to talk to my grandparents about this. I decided they were right. The only people who really cared about me were my dad and my maternal grandma, and they're both gone now. With my mom not speaking to me, I pretty much have no one to rely on. After a lot of thinking, I called my grandparents and told them everything. As expected, they immediately said they were coming on the next flight to take me with them. It's lucky that my summer holidays start in just a couple of weeks, because I've decided to relocate with them permanently. I've thought about it a lot, and I don't think I can fix my relationship with my mom after this. I've been waiting for her to talk to me or at least acknowledge me, but she hasn't shown me any attention. She doesn't even care if I've eaten. Since our fight, I've been living off processed and canned foods. I don't know where she's eating, probably at Olivia's since she's been coming home late almost every day. It's like I've stopped existing for her, and it's just really sad. I'd rather move in with my grandparents than continue living like this. At least they care about me and won't treat me like a burden just because I stood up for myself. I haven't told my mom anything, and I don't think it's necessary. I spoke to my grandparents yesterday evening, so I'm pretty sure that as soon as they land, they'll come straight here, talk to my mom, and handle things. I don't need to go through the drama twice by telling her myself. She hasn't come home yet, and I know my grandparents' flight lands in about half an hour. I'm just mentally preparing for what's about to happen. There's a lot of legal stuff involved, so this isn't going to be as simple as it seems unless my mom agrees to give up her parental rights over me, and even that will take time. I know there's going to be a lot of drama, but for now, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed and hoping everything goes smoothly. Even after all this, I'll still have to move to a new place, start at a new school, and make new friends. Starting over is daunting, but I don't have any other choice. Update 3. Hi, I wanted to address some things. I know people are asking why I didn't just get a lawyer when my mom told me to sell the diamond ring. I have just one question. How? With what money? Most importantly, at the time, I was really scared she'd cancel my trip. That may seem irrelevant now, but back then, it was a big deal to me. People seem to forget that I'm just 15, and a lot of things didn't even occur to me, because I think differently at this age. So no, I didn't have the lawyer's number, the one who's the executor of my grandmother's will. The only person with that contact info was my mom, and I doubt she'd be thrilled if I asked her to contact him just to undermine her. Besides, I just wanted my mom to stop pressuring me, which is why I gave up the ring. If I had known the truth, I never would have done it, but I think I've already covered that. I just wanted to answer some questions people had, and now it's back to waiting for my grandparents to land. Update 4. My grandparents finally landed about 3 hours ago, and they came straight to my place. Our house is close to the airport, so it only took them 20 minutes. Once they arrived, they told me to call my mom and ask her to come home. I tried calling her, but she didn't answer, so I just sent her a text. She didn't respond to my text, but she was back within half an hour, and she brought Olivia with her. Both of them were really upset when they got home. My mom asked my grandparents, in a nasty tone, why they were there. They calmly told her they were here to take me back with them. They explained that they knew everything and believed she was being extremely unfair, which is why they thought I'd be better off living with them. My mom and Olivia didn't take that well. They immediately started yelling at my grandparents, saying they had no right to interfere because they didn't know what I had done or how spoiled and entitled I'd acted, referring to the incident at Olivia's housewarming party. My mom told them that since I was her daughter, she could do whatever she deemed fit, and it wasn't their place to judge her parenting. She then demanded they leave, but my grandparents stood their ground, insisting they weren't leaving, without me. At that point, everyone started shouting, and things got really chaotic. Eventually, my mom turned to me and accused me of creating all this drama, just because I was upset that things weren't going my way. I found that accusation ridiculous, because from my perspective, nothing had ever gone my way. I calmly told her that it was clear she wanted nothing to do with me, and I was giving her the chance to let me go and have a happy life with people who actually cared about me. It was up to her whether she wanted to take that opportunity or keep me here and continue making me feel miserable. That shut her up. After a few minutes of silence, she told me I was free to leave if I wanted to. She said she was tired of fighting and that I'd made it clear my priorities were elsewhere, so it was better if I left. She then told my grandparents she'd have an attorney draw up the paperwork to sign away her parental rights, and I could leave with them. That was it. I went back to my room, packed my things, and my grandparents waited downstairs to take me to a hotel until all the legal proceedings were done. My grandparents are financially well off, so money isn't a problem, and they've already been in touch with their lawyer to get things sorted out quickly. After I finished packing the essentials, I went downstairs, ready to leave with my grandparents. But Olivia stopped me. She said it was disappointing that I was willing to abandon my family at the slightest inconvenience. She called me selfish and spoiled, claiming she never expected me to go this far. My mom told her to let me go, and then we left. I'm not taking any of that to heart because they've never treated me well, so I don't need to care about their opinions. I'm with my grandparents now, and yes, I'm happy to be leaving as soon as the legal work is done. Update 5. Hi, it's been about a month and a half since my last update, and I'm now living with my grandparents. I moved a couple of weeks ago. Leaving my friends behind was tough, but I'm excited to start a new life here, especially now that I don't have to worry about my mom or Olivia mistreating me. With my grandparents, I finally feel secure. All the paperwork is done, and my mom signed away her rights, so I'm officially done with her. I don't know all the details. My grandparents and their lawyer handled most of it. All I know is that she was probably relieved to let go of me, because on the day I was supposed to leave, my grandparents asked her if she wanted to say goodbye. After all, she was still my mother, but she refused to see me one last time. Honestly, I'm okay with that. It's fine if she never wants to see me again. I don't want to see her either. On a positive note, my mom returned the ring to me. Thankfully, the jeweler she sold it to hadn't sold it yet, so she paid him back and returned it to me through my grandparents before I left. Now, there's nothing left to discuss. I've blocked her and Olivia on all platforms. I'm also keeping a safe distance from my relatives back home. They haven't done anything wrong, but I need space from that part of my life, because I'm focused on a fresh start. To move forward, I need to leave my past behind. My grandparents are really happy to have me here, and it's a refreshing change from how I was treated by my mom. For the first time since my dad's death, I'm experiencing what it feels like to be part of a happy family, and I know he's still looking out for me. They're already working on enrolling me in the nearest private school, and I'm looking forward to the experience. I've only ever gone to public school, so this will be different. It's going to be a challenge to adjust in the middle of the term, but I'm determined to make it work. After all, I'm finally happy after a long time, and I don't want that feeling to fade.